So we've done a lot of kind of internal. I will come back to that. Yesterday, though, let's look at external. We don't live in our own. Yesterday, there's a major report by the Black Equity Organisation, who have been themselves consulting with a number of black organisations and communities up and down the country of the United Kingdom. And they've set out their terminology, policy demands across key areas, including economic empowerment, health, justice, housing, and of course, education. And some of the national statistics, which we know, we touched upon with the awarding gap, black teachers being underrepresented at every level, 2.4 teachers across all schools, out of 23,515 professors in the UK, only 165 are black, under 1%. As well, and they have three demands which I'm going to put to you for the first time. They're literally hot off the press, as produced only yesterday. Improve, and I'm glad to say that we are working on them, but I'm really interested in your response to their mandate and what their demands are. The first one is improve racial literacy and teacher training and ongoing professional development. What's your response to that?
Absolutely, and I would extend it beyond teaching. Because my background's health, and literacy in the health and social care professions frankly hasn't been there. It's not been part of a curriculum, it's not really been engaged with in any real sense, and yet we know that there are huge health inequalities in global majority communities who just are not accessing. Now, we've known that for years, but we haven't really managed to resolve it at all. Very simply, we also, when I was taught, and I was looking at dermatology, so skin, for example, I can't think of any textbook that had a black skin in it that would describe what happens under a different skin tone. In COVID, one of the major problems with the black community in terms of diagnosis was that in COVID, respiratory distress would lead to discoloration of lips and fingernails, blue tinge. Well, on black and dark skins, that's not as clear. And so many people were disadvantaged purely because they had skin colour difference. And all of those things are easy to start to resolve once you start to identify it. So absolutely literacy, absolutely how do you engage in hard to reach communities and connect. But also, one step before that, how do you make sure that you understand the inequalities that are there to begin with as we develop our policies and our processes? And education, social care and health, for me, the big three keys to making a difference.
And that very much responds to certainly the curriculum, but what about our existing staff and staff wanting to come in? What's your response into improving the both the existing staff content that we've got, and also improving the lives for black staff?
So we know that black staff, in terms of our ability to recruit and encourage applications, we're not doing as well as we should. So how do we make it clearer that we're encouraging talent from black communities to come to the university, both academic and technical and professional? That's around positive action in the way in which we place our adverts, in the way in which we target, in the way in which we have our policies for HR and recruitment. And then how do we make sure that we're really challenging ourselves as they go through the process to make sure that we're not disadvantaged? We haven't got bias in there that's taking the wrong path, in my view. And then when we come to appointments, are we clear about our bias in that sense? And are we checking and balancing that? We need talent, and we need the best talent that we can find in the university. We are not representing our community, and when you look in the senior staff, we do not have the diversity that we need. Now that means we have to do things differently, and I'm determined to make that happen, and that will be positive.
So that brings me nicely to the third point, and that's is there a case for targets and or quotas?
I worry about targets and quotas in that if that's the only decision making, if that becomes the driver, we're probably missing an opportunity. I would much prefer us to be really clear about what are we looking for, what are the skills, knowledge and attributes, and then be right at the beginning very clear about what our purpose is and why we want to attract more diversity, and then being absolutely focused, laser focused on making sure that we're not disadvantaging people on the way through. And hopefully that will lead to us hitting targets and quotas. I think we need to be more representative of the communities that we serve, and at the moment that is not true when we come into the senior, certainly into the senior positions of the university. We have a lot of global majority staff in particular groups, but they happen to be in lower socioeconomic groupings. When we come through the university, you challenged us earlier on professors, academics. So we have one black professor, female woman. That's not acceptable. So we've been doing a piece of work with a group of 6 women, associate professors or on a trajectory, and we've been working with them. We have to take positive action if we're going to get where we need to get to. And I guess that's an investment, but the return on that investment will be really worth it.